Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, a fire in Alcona County has completely destroyed an important building. Plus, activities continued in Atlanta for the last day of the 2013 Elk Festival, and people grabbed their hiking shoes, bikes, and paddles to take part in guided tours as an end to Michigan Trails Week. We'll have those stories, plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Breaking news tonight, a fire at 406 Miller Street near Pine started around 8:30 tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashley Reed. The home renter told us she came home from dinner and flames were coming out of an upstairs bedroom window. Her 13-year-old son, who was home at the time, turned on his bedroom light after seeing smoke. It is not yet confirmed how or where the fire started exactly. From what we could see, firefighters extinguished the fire in his room before flames spread to other parts of the house. The renter's son and his father escaped. Nobody was injured. However, 6 kittens that were in a neighboring room died of smoke inhalation. The fire is still currently under investigation. A disastrous fire in Lincoln late last night has completely destroyed the Alcona County Road Commission building. According to Lincoln Fire Department Operations Chief Roger McNeil, firefighters were dispatched around 10:30 p.m. for a structure fire at the Road Commission building. As soon as firefighters arrived, they called for additional help due to the size of the fire. After about 4 hours of battling the flames, the fire was finally under control by 3:30 this morning. No injuries were reported. It took hundreds of thousands of gallons of water to put out the fire due to difficult materials that inhibited some firefighting capabilities.
I'd like to thank everybody for their assistance in it, the multi-fire department program. We used, I believe, all but 2 fire departments in the county on this, and then they backfilled behind us to cover the rest of the county, so it really was a county-wide coverage.
Some trucks were saved from the fire, but not included in those saved was a new truck that cost more than $100,000 just delivered to Lincoln earlier this week. The state fire marshal is coming in to help with the disaster. Under local jurisdiction, fire investigators have also been called to the scene. The Road Commission had an emergency meeting early this morning to work on plans to recover from this disaster. People came from all over to join in the last day of Atlanta's annual 3-day Elk Festival. The festival began 29 years ago and has grown bigger and bigger each year. Roads were closed through downtown Atlanta as the streets were filled with people and activities such as food eating contests, kids games, and a river race. Vendors were everywhere selling clothes, jewelry, food, and much more.
It brings in a lot of money to the local community and to the vendors. We have almost 80 vendors this year. It brings recognition to Atlanta, Michigan, the elk capital of Michigan. And of course the grocery station, gas stations, motels, they're all full, restaurants. So it's a big deal for us.
Today, visitors of all ages participated in an annual chicken toss. Different age categories compete to land their rubber chickens in a basket. Winners get to take home a traveling trophy of a chicken mounted to a piece of wood.
Don't really know where it started, but it's gotten bigger and bigger every year, and it's just a fun time.
Next year is predicted to be the biggest festival yet, celebrating the 30th year running. The lobby of Northern Lights Arena transformed into a showroom last night as 2 comedians hit the stage. Adults 21 and over gathered to share some laughs. Connie Ettinger opened the show for Norm Stoltz. Stoltz has been a professional stand-up comedian for 32 years. He has performed in every state in the nation and even overseas. He says although he's done it all, live theater is the best because it's always unpredictable.
What I do is, it's very simple for me. What I do is I take the audience out of their world. They have no problems, no bills, no pools, no pets. I suck them into my world. I play with them for about an hour and I set them back down. But for that 1 hour, it's a total escape.
Ettinger took up comedy professionally after watching Stoltz perform. She has been performing for 12 years professionally and focuses her shows in her life around one phrase.
Stupid should hurt.
Exactly, stupid should hurt.
Painful.
Both comedians say they were excited to be back in Alpena after having performed here before, and they hope the comedy will stay alive in the city. Hiking, biking, and kayaking all went on yesterday as people joined in celebrating the last day of Michigan Trails Week at the Rockport-Besser Natural Area. Governor Snyder wanted to promote Michigan as a trail state, and so Michigan Trails Week began. Yesterday, the Friends of Rockport-Besser Natural Area led multiple tours. There was a narrative hike to the Bat Hibernaculum, a hike and bike through the quarry to the sinkholes, and kayak tours of the shipwreck Portland off Besser Natural Area. Rockport State Recreation Area officially opened last June.
It's a really neat thing that we've been able to incorporate into our community because we've not had anything like this right in this area. This is our first state land that's really been set aside as a recreation area, park, or something for the public. So, it's real important for northeastern Michigan.
This was the first year celebrating Michigan Trails Week at Rockport. The state recreational area is continuing to grow. The Friends of Rockport-Besser Natural Area are now working on developing a trail system and campsites. The Wildcat Figure Skating Club set up at the Alpena Farmers Market yesterday in a fundraising effort. Members of the team sold hot dogs, chips, pop, and candy. All of the money raised will go toward ice fees, which keep going up, and coaching fees. Advisor Julie Danielson said the club needs as much help as possible to keep the kids on the ice.
We're just trying to help out all the parents and the kids so we can raise as much funds as we can to offset all our fees.
And what better day to have the fundraiser as families crowded the farmers market for Kids Day. Free events were planned for kids, including live music, hay rides, a petting zoo, pumpkin carving, face painting, and much more.
We just figured today would be a great day because the kids are out here, a lot of families, and we're really taking advantage of that. And we've had a lot of sales today.
The Wildcat Figure Skating Club competes in 3 competitions across the state each year. They will be hosting a competition in Alpena on December 14th. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, Kelly Stapleton has been ordered to undergo a mental competency hearing after going back to court earlier this week. Plus, ExxonMobil is going to begin offering more benefits. Find out who they will help when we come back from the break. Welcome back. In state news, continuing coverage now on Kelly Stapleton, who was back in a Benzie County courtroom earlier this week. The judge ordered Stapleton must undergo a mental competency hearing and delayed her pretrial hearing. Stapleton is charged with the attempted murder of her 14-year-old daughter, Isabel. The two were found with carbon monoxide poisoning inside the family van near Alberta on September 3rd. Stapleton's attorneys also filed a motion asking permission for Stapleton to appear in civilian clothes during all court proceedings, including these pretrial hearings. Prosecutors argued this isn't necessary during the pretrial stages and she should still be shackled, adding she remains a threat to society. The judge agreed with the prosecutor. And now it's time for some of today's top financial stories with your Money Watch. A possible government shutdown in Washington is looming over Wall Street. The uncertainty gave stocks their first weekly loss since August. The Dow fell 70 points. The Nasdaq slipped about 6. We'll get a snapshot of the labor market this week with reports from a private payroll company as well as the government's September unemployment report. For the first time, ExxonMobil will start offering benefits to legally married same-sex couples. As of January 1st, the oil giant says it will recognize all legal marriages when it determines eligibility for health care plans for its 77,000 U.S. workers. ExxonMobil is facing a same-sex discrimination suit in Illinois. It says it's following the government's lead. Airline passengers may soon be able to leave their smartphones, tablets, and other mobile devices on during takeoffs and landings. The Federal Aviation Administration is considering easing restrictions on electronic devices. Even with the changes, though, downloading data, surfing the web, and talking on the phone would still be off limits. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.45 at BP, and the lowest is at $3.43 at Admiral. Across the state, the highest gas price is $3.99 in Grosse Isle. The lowest price for gas in Michigan is at $3.17 in St. John's. There is still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Shannon McGrattan will be in with a look at sports, and I'll be right back with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is time now for a look at the weather. Today, the high was 67 degrees. The normal high for September 29th is 63 degrees, so we were higher for this time of year. The record high for this day was 84 degrees back in 1921. The low today was 55 degrees, the normal low being 42, so we were higher for this time of year. The record low for this day was 25 degrees back in 1942. Sunrise this morning was at 7:30 a.m. and the sunset tonight around 7:18. Looking at our current temperatures here, we can see in Alpena it is currently 42 degrees. It really feels like 43 degrees. We have 100% humidity in the area. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, really clear over Alpena, clear in the most part for everywhere. No precipitation visible at all for that. Tonight we have a little bit of patchy fog, a low of 45 degrees with some calm wind. Going into tomorrow, it will be sunny with a high of 68 degrees, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night's looking to be mostly clear with a low around 53 degrees, south wind around 10 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast. Sunny Tuesday and Wednesday with a high of 75 degrees on Wednesday. Chance of rain on Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 70 degrees. Friday mostly cloudy with another chance of raining into our day on Saturday. We're going to hit a high of 68 degrees on Friday, but drop back down to 56 degrees on Saturday. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was again sent in by Mike Dachevosnik. Mike says it was a beautiful fall day in Alcona County. All of the different colors really make this photo interesting. You can see the horses are all different shades, and in the background, all of the leaves are beautifully changing colors. Thank you for sharing that photo with us, Mike. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. And now it's time for some of today's top medical stories with your Health Watch. More kids than ever were vaccinated against the flu last year. The Centers for Disease Control says nearly 57% of children got the flu shot or nasal spray. That's a big boost from previous years, but health officials say there's still room for improvement. The flu vaccine is recommended for nearly everyone 6 months and older. The Food and Drug Administration plans to regulate health apps for smartphones. Industry analysts say there are more than 17,000 medical apps, but the agency plans to only focus on apps that turn a smartphone into a device like a heart monitor. And Zach Vaughter is being called the Bionic Man because his prosthetic leg responds to his thoughts. Vaughter lost his leg in a motorcycle accident. Doctors in Chicago gave him a robotic leg that's connected to his nerve endings. Signals from his brain are sent directly to the prosthetic, telling it how to move like a real leg. In national news, the budget battle shifts to the Senate Monday afternoon as lawmakers race the clock to reach a deal to avoid a partial government shutdown. The big sticking point is the new health care law and whether it should even be linked to a spending bill. CBS's Tara Mergener has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Good Sunday afternoon. House Republicans took aim at the Senate Majority Leader for not holding a session just 2 days before a possible government shutdown.
The Senate needs to act. Why are they waiting? Why aren't those doors open?
The latest House bill passed Saturday ties funding for federal agencies with a 1-year delay in parts of the Affordable Care Act.
We're just asking them, in good faith, come back and do what is required in a democracy, and that is to negotiate and work with us.
But President Obama and Senate Democrats say they will not support any legislation that cuts into Obamacare.
Right. But we are not going to pass it. We're not going to pass it because it is wrong to do a shutdown of government as the lever to make change.
Democrat Dick Durbin does not believe GOP conservatives are looking for a compromise.
Almost 45 times now, the House Republicans have voted to abolish Obamacare, not to change it, not to come up with any specific change.
And with the Tuesday morning deadline inching closer, President Obama met with his senior staff Sunday to discuss the possible partial government shutdown. Tara Mergener for CBS News, Capitol Hill.
If there is a shutdown, national parks and museums will close, but mail carriers, airport screeners, and the U.S. military will stay on the job. Sports is coming up next, but first, Shannon McGrattan is here with a preview of what's ahead. Shannon.
A roller derby taking over Northern Lights Arena this afternoon. I'll have that story coming up. And the Lions looking to stop the Bears defense today in Week 4 action. Stay right here on WBKB News for all that and more. We'll see you soon.
Every day and just trying to make the best of them.
And the Street Cat season starts at Northern Lights Arena this Friday. Puck drops at 7. And a lot of the players are from Russia, Canada, Belarus, and we obviously have Kim Russell from Alpena. But It's really funny going to the practices because half of them only speak Russian, so there's one translator for everybody.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool, but it's a cool dynamic.
That's fun, a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, you meet new players, and like you said, the level of play is just so much better than what you're used to in college and that kind of stuff.
I'm excited for that. That'll be fun.
It'll be good. 7 o'clock, so Northern Lights Arena.
All right, well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, a group joined together today to educate and improve the lives of those afflicted with chronic illness. That story when we return. Thanks for staying tuned. Growing each year, the 4th annual Ride for Justice took place today in Bristol to help raise money to support the mission of the Petite Family Foundation. The first ride took place on what would have been Jennifer Hawk Petite's 52nd birthday and has grown in riders each year. The ride begins in Bristol, Connecticut and gives a treat to motorcyclists as it winds through Burlington, Harwinton, and other parts of northwest and central Connecticut. The event was created to honor Michaela Haley and Jennifer Hawk Petite, who were murdered during a home invasion and robbery. All proceeds from the ride go to the foundation and will continue the mission of educating young people and to improve the lives of those afflicted with chronic illnesses.
That's a great ride, just to do something like that.
Always.
It's always fun to bring out your Harley, right?
Yeah, and they said they have a fun route that they can ride, so, I mean, you're doing it for a cause and having fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, more the merrier. Remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or, as always, add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
And that will do it for tonight's show, but be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian here tomorrow morning on 11.3. Have a great night.